Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Is it audible, Prabhuji? Is it audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Venkatramana, bro, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, able to hear you, Prabhuji.
Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. A bit of echo is there, but fine.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
मानते नहीं है। मैं कभी कभी कर्मी लोग से सीखता हूं, इतना कर्मी लोग है तो काम, क्या बोले, उनका अंतर में कामना है, लेकिन उनका मानन ज्यादा है। मानन समझ रहे हैं ना, ईश्वर को मानते हैं। वो इतना ध्यान से पढ़ते हैं, ध्यान से प्रेयर करते हैं। अब देख लीजिए, कामना के लिए भी उनका विश्वास ज्यादा है। ठाकुर जी चाहेंगे ना, मुझे एक लड़का मिल जाएगा, लड़की मिल जाएगा, पैसा मिल जाएगा। तो कामना के लिए भी उन लोग का पास जितना विश्वास है, पात्रता है। हम लोग भक्त है ना, हम लोग का पात्रता कैसा होना चाहिए। शिव जी ने समझ लिया कि ये प्रचेता लोग जो है ना, वो भक्ति कर सकते, उनको मेटेरियल चीज मैं नहीं दूंगा, इसलिए रुद्र गीता ने प्रदान की, उपदेश ने दी। महात्मा लोग हमको देखते हैं, समझ रहे हैं ना, साधु लोग का कृपा बराबर है। जैसे विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर एक उदाहरण देते हैं भागवत में। बारिश सब जगह में होता है ना, समुद्र का बीच बारिश होता है, समुद्र में पानी का कोई अभाव नहीं है, फिर भी बारिश होता है ना। पर्वत के ऊपर बारिश का कोई आवश्यक, क्योंकि एक बूंदा पानी रखने में वो समर्थ नहीं है, लेकिन उधर ही बारिश होता है। जमीन में भी बारिश होता है, तालाब में भी बारिश होता है। प्रॉब्लम है जिनका पात्रता है ना, वो पकड़ लेता है, जिसका पात्रता नहीं वो नहीं पकड़ता है। हम जो भक्त संग कर रहे हैं ना, एक पात्रता बढ़ाने के लिए, भक्ति योग को धारण करने के लिए पात्रता चाहिए, योग्यता चाहिए। और पहले पात्रता यही है, सरल भावना। शिवजी ने समझ लिया कि ये प्रचेता लोग बहुत सरल है, उन लोग का पात्रता है, क्योंकि मिलजुल कर सब निकल आए हैं भजन करने के लिए नारद के उपदेश से। पात्रता बढ़ाना चाहिए हम लोग। हम जैसे समझ रहे हैं इसे ठीक है, भक्ति ऐसे ही है, लेकिन भक्ति प्राप्त करने के लिए, कृपा प्राप्त करने के लिए हम लोग का पात्रता चाहिए।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Venkatramana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranams. It's clear, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you are able to hear me now.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu, we could hear you.
Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivacharya Astotra Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Samaved Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Sitanand Pramanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devagi Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumanaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for the Sunday Bhagavatam class. We will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, text number 23. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanimedanam Shri Prahlad Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam Shri Prahlad Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam
Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam Shri Prahlad Uvacha Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam
Shri Prahlada Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Saranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam
Mataji.
Shri Prahlad Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam
Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki. Just give me a second. Laptop is on. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name form qualities, paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectable worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming His servant, considering the Lord's one best friend, and surrendering everything unto Him. In other words, serving Him with the body, mind and words. These 9 processes are accepted as a pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This is only the Dasyam part of it, and you can see in the presentation, it's a small purport for this verse. There is the following statement in regard to assisting the Lord as a servant. After many thousands of births, when one comes to understand that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, one can deliver others from this universe. If one simply continues to think that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, even without performing any other process of devotional service, he can attain full success. For simply by his feeling, one can perform all 9 processes of devotional service. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuda Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnava Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadudam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanatam Cha Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatade Chatarine Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpataru Resha Kripa Sindhu Vairvacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This heavy topic, servitude, Dasyam. So I seek all the Vaishnavas' blessing before I speak on this topic, so that I can speak something relevant. There are so many exalted Vaishnavas here. Please pray for me. So today, Prabhupada is, again, Prabhupada brilliance. For this Dasyam, Prabhupada has given explanation, this one paragraph. But this is something very, very deep to understand. So Prabhupada makes a statement. After many thousands of birth, one comes to understand this eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Surpahai Krishnera Nityadas. So after many millions of lifetime, we get this understanding. One eternally thinks he is servant of Lord without even performing any other process of devotional service, even one thinks that attitude, he said that's a complete success. Not only he can liberate himself, but he can liberate other people also. So this is the theme for today's topic. We'll dwell into more. And Prabhupada, the why is mentioning that, even if you think the concept of eternally you are serving to life after life, and that's successful criteria. That's what Prabhupada defines. And when Prabhupada translated Bhakti, he never translated into as a devotion. Our general philosophers, anybody would have written, they would have said Bhakti means devotion. Prabhupada translated into a devotional service. So the service attitude is the key. The entire ISKCON movement is running just because there are so many services being rendered by various devotees. Otherwise, it's just a speculative movement. There is no practical service, seva, and there is no devotion. It's just more of a concept understanding. So, with respect to Dasyam and other devotional services, if you want to see, Dasyam is very much integrated. It's not a separate aspect. Out of 9, I need to follow separately Dasyam. This is very much integrated with other process. For example, Shravanam, let us take Shravanam is always, we know that Parishit Maharaj is the example where he was hearing it. But Maharaj took it with humility when he heard it. It's not that he was thinking, I am the emperor of the world, I'm going to listen Bhagavatam. So when he made that mistake of that offending that Shringi's father, so when he got the curse, he was thinking, I've done so much mistake, let all the punishment come to me. See, Parishit Maharaj, right from the beginning, he saw Krishna, perfect king, who's protecting the citizenship, protecting the cows and dharma, everything. He did only one mistake, but he was exaggerating his life. Oh, this is the mistake I've done. How can I do this mistake? That too, he is not done because of his own whimsical thing. It's Krishna's arrangement. And he has to do that. Even though he did a small mistake in the life, he was exemplifying it, or he's making it big so that, he can, the humility, that's because of his humility. Oh, I've done this mistake. How do I repent? But most of the time we see the general devotees, like they would have done everything bad in their life, but one thing, good thing they would have done, this try to seek attention. Hey, I've done this. It's because of me I did this seva. Or I'm the cause of for this seva. But here see the attitude of Maharaj, Parishit Maharaj. He was so humble when all these acharyas started coming to hear Bhagavatam, and he fell at their feet saying that I'm not qualified because you are all coming, because my father and grandfather, they are all very exalted Vaishnavas. You just want to give blessings to me. It's because of that relation which I have with my previous lineage. That's why you're all come. I'm like a person who need to be washed my feet, and the place where we wash our feet. I'm like that place, but you're all, exalted Vaishnavas. He started glorifying and heard it with the humility. So similarly, any process we take, including Smaranam, or it could be Vandanam, Dasyam, everything needs to be done with the Dasyam attitude. So Dasyam is very much integrated with all the other process of devotional service. So it's not a separate thing we need to endeavor, but any service you do, either Shravanam, chanting, if somebody talks, he's a Kirtanam, he's doing it, explaining very well Bhagavatam, a lot of Bhagavata Sapta happens. But there is no transformation. That's because this is not their servitude attitude, or the humility is not there. They speak, but they don't follow, they don't walk the talk. If that is the case, most of the time, that Dasyam aspect is missing, and a person maybe how much ever he is good at orating the Bhagavatam, the effect will not be there. Prabhupada, see, the language barrier, everything was a problem, but any books, you see that how the books, through books, Prabhupada can turn so many devotees' life. That's because it's a pure devotional, and he used to follow all this aspect of Dasyam. So like that, we can go on explaining the different process, how even Padasevanam, if you take it, you have to be servitor attitude. Of course, like, Atmanivedanam, complete surrender, then again you need to be in servitor attitude. So like that, you can see many aspect of other limbs also very much integrated with Dasyam aspect. Now, when I was reading this, I got one question from my mind. Now, generally what happens in Vaikuntha, it's completely Avan reference, Aishwarya Bhav, everybody does the Dashya Ras. It's very much clear. Then we move little up towards Dwaraka and Mathura, especially Dwaraka also Aishwarya Bhav. Some of the parents are there and they're also parental relationship. When you come to Mathura, then it is 50-50. You will have more parental relationship and also there is Aishwarya Bhav. But when we come to Goloka Vrindavan, there is no Dasya Rasa. So, how many of you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan? Okay. How many want to become Dasana? So in Goloka Vrindavan there is no Dasya. Why should we do Dasya? Why should we talk about even Dasya? Why there is need of class today? You don't need a class, right? So any thoughts on that? There is no qualification?
There is a qualification.
That's a qualification, okay. Yes, Prabhu.
All the rasas are basis is Dasya.
All rasas basis Dasya.
Dasya is already integrated in all the rasas.
Okay.
The jiva itself, the basic requirement of a jiva itself is dasyam.
Yeah, but you will not practice that. Krishna is not a god in Goloka Vrindavan. You never see him as a god. So you don't do any dasya, right?
The mood is that of you want to keep pleasure to Krishna.
That's distinct, right? You know, the rasas are distinct. When you say parental love, it is distinct. When you say friendship, it is distinct. When you say dasya, it's distinct. Not all are the same, right?
That rasa only there.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Hriday Prabhu. Okay. I'm not going to answer anything this icebreaker so that we can attentive here.
I once heard one point regarding this, that those of us who have got connected to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, out of the special mercy, we have got special access to, Satyam, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So, predominantly it's Dasyam.
Okay. Yes, we will see as we explore at the end of it. We will see whether it reconciles to our understanding, all of your understanding. Okay, I predominantly taken this session, I read Nectar of Devotion, and whatever Prabhupada has done purely on this, and I have added some examples so that we can understand. That's all I have done. So it's purely on Nectar of Devotion. This is in the chapter 11. In the Naradiya Purana, Prabhupada makes a statement, wonderful statement, Rupa Goswami. The servitorship is the transcendental. It is said that there is a person who is constantly engaged in devotional service by his body, mind and words, or even a person who is not practically engaged but is simply desiring to be so, is considered to be liberated. I think Prabhupada taken exact reference in Srimad Bhagavatam, this Nectar of Devotion. Rupa Goswami also says, even person thinking, forget about doing Dasya Seva, is just simply even desiring, is liberated. Now, if in this material world, we see that if somebody advertise, in the paper that I've seen, we need a labor or we need a servant who can take care of the house, and they should not, they say they should be neat and clean. They'll put so many conditions like that. But if you see this spiritual world, it's completely opposite. At least they would say good remuneration will be paid, and you will be taken care, you will be given holidays, or a company when they invite, then they would say all these classes they put, they'll try to show you, But when it comes to a spiritual terms, there is no remuneration. You can handle however you want. They just simply surrender to the Lord. And, there is no holidays, 24/7 doing seva without any expectation. It's completely contradictory to the material thing. But why is that so important? Why these acharyas are doing it? Because it's a heartfelt yearning to personal service, do the service to the Lord. This is what the ultimate experience they get, ultimate happiness they get. To give an example, Chotaridas Thakur, when Mahaprabhu said, I don't want to see you in this lifetime, his service was he wants to sing for Lord. Now, in this life, if I'm not able to do, what do I do? He just thought he went and committed suicide. Then after that, he became in another body and started singing, and Mahaprabhu used to hear. So we can see that the life and soul of the Vaishnava is that this is my ultimate, they despair for doing this service. That is the ultimate thing for them. Other things are there or not, they are not bothered. But if there is a service cut off, they are ready to give up their life. That is the commitment where Chota Haridas Thakur had. And it is not that when we say, I was talking about Smaranam also, this Dasyam is integrated. Now Kamsa is the best person who was meditating Smaranam and Krishna than other devotees. So can we say that he is also Dasya? So that's a differentiated factor where he was not in Dasya Rasa. He was thinking, but Anukule, Krishna Anukule Nishiranam, Bhakti Uttama. He was thinking not favorably. It's not in the Dasya mode. But he is one of the example we can say. He was all this, Ravana and this guy Kamsa, they are all always thinking about Krishna. How do I kill Krishna? Where is he doing? Which demon is killing? So they are always doing Smaranam, but that's without servitude. And there is also another wonderful example. I don't know this devotee name. With Raghunath Das Goswami, initially he goes and meets the Puri. I think it's Ramachandra Viprava, something like that. So that one Vaishnava is a Rama Bhakta. And he was so humble, it's so humble. And he said, Raghunath Goswami, let me have your bags, luggages, I will carry everything. And throughout the day he was Ram Nam, Ram, he was chanting. Raghunath Das Goswami said, wow, what a devotee, what a humble mood he's doing. Then he went and took it to Mahaprabhu and he introduced, see this Vipra Brahmana is very, very humble. And he is a devoted, 24/7, constantly thinks about Lord Ram's name. It's wonderful Bhakta. Mahaprabhu rejected him. Why? Because he was thinking to merge with the Lord. His intention is not Dasya to serve. So his intention was different. Even though he is a kind of a devotee and Vaishnava. So Mahaprabhu clearly distinguished this aspect of Dasyam is very, very important. Otherwise, it's very difficult. For example, Hanuman, right? When we say Dasyam, we always refer to Hanuman. He was ready to jump. He was ready to do for everything. He's more of a animal body, may not have that intelligence as other people. But still, he said, for Ram, I want to do everything. So he just jumped. And also we know this famous story of how the devotees saw Hanuman is grabbing all the services. They all made a plan in Ayodhya. They said, let's all list down all the services and put our names instead of Hanuman name because he grabs everything. His servitude is something amazing, mind-boggling. We don't get any seva. So all of them made a plan. They made a list of sevas to Lord Ram and put their respective names and they left over Hanuman. So when Hanuman came and saw, there was none of services, his name is there. And he went and complained to Lord Ram. Ram, what is this? See this, everybody has put their name. I don't have any seva. I can't live without seva. Lord Ram said, I have one more diary. In that I have written the closest devotee whom I like it. And he said, give me the diary. Then he said, only Hanuman name was there. So like that, when we do the seva, the Lord keeps them in their heart. That's why it is very much, seva is integral part of our bhakti. Without bhakti, that's ultimate. The means and goal is bhakti. Bhakti means devotional service. Practical devotional service, the means as well as the goal. That's why devotees are very much, they are ready to give up their life or they just completely devastated if there is no seva. So this mood of service needs to be cultivated because there's no more, it's not an activity which I'm going to do or this pious credit. It's not a devotional service. It is a privilege. Because let's say somebody is inviting you for a big program, Prime Minister of India is calling you, personally invite. It's a privilege. So similarly, when some service comes in the temple or seva comes in the temple, it is, you need to see them as a privilege. I'm one of the privileged person. I can do this service. If that attitude is that it's a privilege to do this seva, then there will be always competition. There will be no saying, Prabhu, you do this seva. No, Prabhu, I have something else to do. That concept will not come unless we feel that, oh, this is a privilege, this is a lifetime opportunity, and this is the end goal and means to do this seva. That attitude can change completely. Now let us see one more example how Hanuman is expressing himself. This is again in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 6.42. He says, I don't want to merge into the effulgence of Brahman, neither I have been, I don't want a liberation. He says, I just need to be servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So we all know this wonderful story of Vaishnava Seva, right? There is one devotee in, I think it's in Kumbakonam, Sharangapani temple. This is one of the Dividesham. This temple has a Raja Gopuram. In Tamil Nadu, after Srirangam, Madurai, this is the third highest Gopuram, 172 feet tall. And this devotee, he thought, I want to do something for the Lord. He started constructing this temple, and he went and collected a few monies from the village. He started constructing. He forgot that he is getting old. He didn't get married. He started at the young age, but he forgot that his life ended up generally constructing a temple takes 40-50 years. He was 70, and people said, "Hey, what kind of person you are? You didn't make your family. You didn't save anything. Who is going to deliver you to the spiritual world? Unless you have a son, putra, then he would do some pindadana. Then there is a chances that you might go. Now you don't have anybody. You are anatha. So what you do?" Then this devotee went and cried to Lord Vishnu, saying that I don't have anybody, you are the person who has to take care of me. So when this person died, the Lord personally came and he did this Shraddha ceremony for this person. And even today, every year on the particular Tithi, the Lord comes out, goes to the Kaveri, and he does Pindatana for this devotee. Why I am telling this is, when the service is given, Lord is sold out, and he is for the devotees and the devotees for the Lord. So this servited attitude doesn't matter how inconvenience to us, they forget the inconvenience and they go and want to do seva for the Lord. The second aspect is, we all know this Kanchipurna story. He was fanning the Lord and he can able to talk to the Lord. And when he finishes his seva, he would come out. And there is one devotee, is to help him to go out to his house because it will be dark. So he used to carry a torch or something. So he used to do some menial service. One day this Sevaka asked Kanchipurna, you always talk to the Lord, can you check with him in this lifetime will I be able to go to the Lord? Then Kanchipurna said, tomorrow I will ask the Lord. Then when he was fanning, and the Lord smiled and said, Kanchipurna, you have something to ask? He said, yes, there is one friend of mine who always helps me every day. When I go home, he carries the torch so that I can easily navigate to my house. He was asking whether he will go in this lifetime or not. He said, definitely, you are my dear, so you are so dear to me, Kanchipurna. He is doing seva to you. 100% in this lifetime you will go. And Kanchipurna thought, okay, let me also ask, what is the Lord would respond? Then he asked Kanchipurna, what about myself, Lord? He said, you will not go back in this lifetime. And he said, what, Lord? Why I am doing this seva, everything perfectly, what is wrong? And he said, you are not doing any Vaishnava seva. Then he dropped immediately the chamar and started running. The Lord calling, hey, Kanchipurna, please come back. It's very hard. I'm suffering. And immediately went and asked devotees, I want to do seva. Can you give me some seva? Then they all said, oh, you are talking to the Lord. You are such exalted person, Vaishnava, Brahmana. No seva, we can't take it from you. We can serve you, but we can't take it. He was dejected. He was going everywhere. Nobody was giving seva. He was just, I don't know what he do. Then he went to, he himself disguised himself as some Babaji or something. Then he went and requested Goshtipurna that I want to do some, I want to help something in Goshala and Kaushik. They all said, okay, there is some other person who let me allow him. And he was doing this Goshala work. 1 year went by. One day it was late in the evening. He changed himself and he was doing bhajan. Goshtipurna accidentally came because it was raining and he wants to see what's happening with this person boy who is doing the seva. And he realized that this was Kanchipurna. And he fell at his feet and asked forgiveness. Then Kanchipurna came to temple and started doing seva for the Lord. Why this acharyas, Lord is insisting that the seva, understand this Dasyam, mode of servitudeship, that we can understand from this. Next one is, as I mentioned, the Dasyam is a privilege. It's a seva is a privilege. It is not forced upon anybody. We happily perform this devotional service. So there are 2 or 3 wonderful pastime of Srila Prabhupada who would like to narrate. One time Prabhupada was in Kumbh Mela. These devotees were all looking at Prabhupada. Different ashrams, they would come, different Matadhipatis will come. And they were a grand festival. They all carry their respective Matadhipati into the elephant procession. Or they bring some vehicle or something, rath. They go to the Ganges. They all show that, see, my Guru, we are from this place and we have a lot of things. And devotees were thinking, Prabhupada is just walking with a few devotees. They all thought, oh, this is not befitting our Srila Prabhupada. Every Acharya is going in the elephant or some other thing. what should we do? Then they went and asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, should we get you also elephant? This is the brilliance of Prabhupada. Other devotees, they would have told no, because I'm very humble, I don't want to do it. Or they would have said, yes, bring it, let's do it. But Prabhupada, see this genius of Prabhupada. He said, yes, bring the elephant, sit Radha Madhav on the elephant, I will walk next to the elephant. He said, this is Prabhupada. He never compromised. Yukta Vairagya, yes, elephant, get it. Everybody should know that we are also doing it, but we are doing it for Radha Madhav. This is the genius of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was at the deathbed, we all know, he was translating Bhagavatam. Somebody would have asked, why Prabhupada has to so much struggle, even at that time he would have relaxed and he would have chanted or meditated, whatever it is. But he was doing this Dasyam of translating Srimad Bhagavatam. He would have taken a break. As I mentioned, this is something they don't want to give it up. They don't want something this is part of their life, the devotional service, doing seva. They don't want to, at any cost, they don't want to compromise. So I remember there's a wonderful story from His Radhanath, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, journey home, this Dasyam Das. It's such a wonderful, heart-touching, wonderful explanation of this Vaishnava Ghanshyam, Gopijana Vallabha. So that time Maharaj, before joining ISKCON, used to stay in Vrindavan like that. And this Babaji is very old. And this Babaji, when he came to Vrindavan at the young age, and he doesn't want to go out of Vrindavan. He told his parents, I'm not coming, you go. Then they all said he will come back after a few months. He was so adamant, they tried to convince him. Then he started writing Radha name on the mud and started every day chanting on this name. So after a few years passed, parents came again after 10 years. He said, I'm not coming. I'm settled here at Vrindavan. I'm not coming anymore. So one day he was writing Radha's name and chanting. After that, when he was trying to erase, he found something. Then the deity Gopijana Vallabha manifested. And there is no place, no money for him. He put a small shed where they gave some place and he was started worshipping him. And that's the time he met His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. And one day he was very heavy, put him on the bed. So this Acharya asked him, so why don't you help? Maharaj said, I will help him. So the next day Maharaj started coming and he started giving him prasadam and he would give 3 chapatis. Every day he would do that, 2nd day, 3rd day, 4th day. And 5th day Maharaj was going to the Yamuna and taking bath. And nearby devotees, they were shouting at him, yelling at him, screaming at him. Do you know what are you doing? Maharaj puzzled, he said, what? This Ghanshyam every day goes and does Madhukari, he gets 2 or 3 rotis. That too every day is giving to you. Last 4 days he has not been eaten. Do you know that, what you are doing? Maharaj was shocked, he was shattered. And next day he said, I will not go in the morning, I will go in the late in the evening or whatever it is, so that he will eat. When Maharaj went next day, a devotee brought the same chapati, roti. He said, I was been waiting for you, the same roti you have to take. This is Gopijana, you are a friend of Gopijana Vallabha, you have to eat it. He was forcing him and he made Maharaj to eat. So like that, the loving exchanges was going on. They were very cold, shivering, both of them staying in the temple. Then he would put his torn blanket to the Ghanshyam. Ghanshyam would, no, you take it. This loving exchanges, you can see that. One time he was carrying a bucket of water to bathe the Lord. And Maharaj was forcefully dragged the bucket, saying that you are old, I will do that. And he started crying profusely. The statement what he made, this reflects the Prabhupada mode. Why he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam at the deathbed. He said, this is a service I can do. If you grab this also, you are young, you can do any seva. But why are you grabbing my seva? What is that I have done? Without this seva, I can't live. That is the statement struck Maharaj. So what I am telling is the devotees, the acharyas, the devotional services, the dasyam, it is the integral part of their life. It's something, the seva goes out of their hand and they are ready to die. And in the battlefield of the death also, they are ready to do this seva continue. That's Prabhupada's attitude. Why it took so much struggle to translate, even he knew that he is going to leave this body. So we can see from this example how this is a privilege. If you have something gold or a diamond, then you don't want to lose it. So that's why these acharyas, they catch hold of this wonderful thing called seva. And we also know this wonderful sloka from Mukunda Mala Sotra, right? Mukundana Murdana Pranipatyaya Che Bhavantam Yekantam Yantam Artam अविस्मृतिस्तव चरणारविन्दे भवे भवे मे तु भवत्प्रसादात् नाहं वन्दे तव चरणयोर्द्वन्द्वमद्वन्द्वहेतु कुम्भीपाहं कुर्मपि नरकनाकनेतुं रम्य रामा मृदुतनुलता नन्दनानि पीनन्तुं भावे भावे हृदय भवने भावयन्तं भवन्तुम्. And this wonderful shloka, another wonderful shloka, he talks about Tava Bhritya 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 Paricharaka Bhritya Bhritya Bhritarasya Bhritya Intima Smara Lokanatha. Life after life, every life after Bhave Bhave, after life, I just want to hold you the lotus feet. I want to be a dasa all the time. I want to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. That is the mood of this acharyas. Wonderfully, explaining this also, and also we have Rupa Goswami singing about Gopi Patur Pada Kamaliyor Dasana Dasana Das. I am not a Vipra, I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Kshatriya. My identity is not I am in Sannyasashram, Grihasthashram. I am not a Vaishya or Shudra. My identity is that I want to be always Dasana 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 Das. So, and one time Prabhupada, I was almost before passing away, he had a wonderful, beautiful ring. This ring was very costly. It was donated by somebody else. And Prabhupada called, I think it's Dhananjay Prabhu or somebody. He said, give this ring to George. There is none other than George Harrison. And George Harrison got it. And he was shocked. He said, Prabhupada gave to me. Why? There are so many thousands of disabled. I have not done anything much. There are initiated disabled sannyasis. Why Prabhupada gave? And for that Dhananjay Prabhu said, this is what Prabhupada has told. When Prabhupada was in distress to publish this Krishna book, you are the one. Of course, there later a lot of people came and gave, donated, but you are the first person to came. And Prabhupada remembered, he want to reciprocate with you. When the Lord, when we do this kind of seva, unalloyed seva, the Lord remembers and he will help you out. And when we go back to Vaikuntha also, or spiritual world, the means and end is same. The seva will continue. It is not that, okay, I am relaxed now, my Vaikuntha is gone, and he will cook for you. No, you can't say that I will do the seva of doing kirtanam. There are best singers than you, Lalita, Vishaka. Or you can say, no, I know Bhagavatam, I will give pravachan. To whom you will give? There are Bhagavatans. What sevas you will do? The only seva you can do is doing the practical devotion service, right? That will continue. After going there, that will continue. There is like, no, you can't say that, no, I will do this service, right? This is the seva. The ultimate objective of this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam is doing a practical devotional service to the Lord. Thus, that will continue. And Mahaprabhu, one time Srivas Thakur's house he went. You are very dear to me. And even the dog in your house, it's very dear to me. Why? Because he is the servite attitude he has. The Lord embraces not only the devotee and his family, immediate members, they're all, he is very dear to him. And I will ensure that even dog in your family goes back to God. That's a wonderful realization. And one time Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, he said, let us all sannyasis get together for Gandharvika Giridhari. Let us all go and do the, farming. Let us do all the vegetables, cultivate ourselves, let us offer to the Lord. So his mood was that doing a practical devotion service. It's not only bhajan and chanting and doing other things, but apart from that, there is some devotion service needs to do. He ordered all the sannyasis. Tomorrow onwards, we are cultivating the vegetable. Let's go and do the cultivation. Like that, he was trying to correct all of them, imbibing the mode of how to do a devotional service, day-to-day activities. So there are two things we need to understand. This seva attitude, it's there, Jivera Surpai, Krishna Nityadas. If somebody is not doing devotional service to Krishna, definitely the other person is engaged in the Maya. There is, what do you say? You can't say, I don't like this seva, or I don't have inclination. Sometimes I'm not able to get motivated. you can't give this excuses. Either there is a black and white, either you're doing seva to Maya or to Krishna. It's better to do seva to Krishna. One time Giriraj Maharaj, when Bombay construction was happening, and he went and told Prabhupada, after chanting, I have only time for chanting. After that, I am completely busy in the morning and evening, so occupied, so much work. I'm not able to spend time for other activities. And Prabhupada said, that's good, because you're not engaged in Maya, you're completely engaged in transcendental activity. There is no scope for Maya attacking. So, as much as seva as possible, when we get engaged, then we are not in Maya. If you are not doing any seva here, which means that definitely somewhere or other you've been serving somebody, either your family or country or your office, you are there in other space. So as long as your chart is completely with 24/7 some devotional activity, then the seva is there, then always better. There is no scope for Maya. Otherwise, we can check our day-to-day activities. If there is any scope for break, we are not doing the seva, means definitely we are serving Maya. It's 100%. There is no in between. So either we are in Maya or Krishna seva. So it's better go and check in a day how much time, hours we are engaged in the seva. If not, fill the gaps with some service. Otherwise, we always will have a problem. So this is something technical, which Rupa Goswami writes in the chapter 36 of his servitude. He is classifying various. Now we sing so far what is Dasyam, how the acharyas. Some example we have seen. Now another 5-10 minutes time, what we'll do is that we go little deep into service. Service is not a one category, and Rupa Goswami 2-3 classification he gives. We'll see major 2 classifications of even the service. There are many different devotees are there. Okay, then he basically classified servitude into 4 types. One is appointed servants. One time Jambavati in Dwaraka, Krishna's one of wife, and Kalindi, who is none other than Yamuna Devi and sister of Yamadharmaraj. So Jambavati is asking to Kalindi, oh Kalindi, who is that lady who is circumambulating Krishna? Do you know who is she? She said, that's Sambika. She is in charge of superintendent of earth, this jail. Oh, okay. I see there is another personality with trident. He is going around. Who is he? And Kalindi said, this is none other than Shiva, who is in charge of this entire material universe. And he said, who is that 400 person who is going around, is paying obeisances? He said, that is Brahma. And he said, Indra was falling flat. Oh, who is this person with the elephant who is falling flat? Then Jambavati said, oh, this is none other than Indra. Oh, these are the appointed person. Why I am giving this example? These are the appointed person by Krishna, who also does the seva. And there was one more person who was laughing and smiling. He said, who is that person? Oh, this is my brother Yamadharmaraj. She said, oh, he has come to meet Krishna. So this Yama, all this appointed, they also these are one category of servitude where I've been appointed, like we work in the office, we are easily able to relate how we do the seva to them, right? And the second category of the devotees who fall under this category is under protection or shelter. Those who are feeling shelter, they are not appointed servant, but official. These are official servant, right? Ambika, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Yamadharmaraj, they are all officially appointed. The post will be there. If somebody goes, he will replace with somebody. The another one is the devotees who feel protection and shelter under him. For example, Kaliya, after doing so much struggle, Krishna stamped on his head and he surrendered to him. Then he feel protected because Krishna's footprint was there, so that Garuda cannot torture him. Then he also gives the example of Subhadra Mai, and Pradyumna, Samba, and those people also an example, like the sons of Krishna, they are very much fall in this category, headed by Pradyumna. They all feel protected under Krishna's shelter. One time he went out to kill some demons, and after the war was over successful, he was always anchoring to go and take the blessings of Krishna. He wanted to touch the feet of Krishna. So they always feel protected. When they go for war, they say, I've been protected by my father. So their mood is that they're not servants, but they're all under the protection and they feel awe and reverence factor of it. So these are the example of their sons, Samba, Pradyumna, Subhadra, Charana, Gada. I don't know some of them, but this is the Rupa Goswami's classification. The third one, there are some constant association. They are neither the appointed servants nor they feel protected, but they are constant associates of the Lord. They also do seva. For example, Uddhava, he always waits at the door of Krishna. He exactly resembles the constant associate. What is the characteristic is they resemble Krishna in terms of their feature or something or other. They'll be very effulgent. There'll be radiation coming out of their body. So these are some close associates of the Lord. They fall under this constant associate category. Satyaki, Shrutadeva, Satrajit. These are some example. And if you want to come to in Dwaraka, sorry, not Dwaraka, in Kuru dynasty, is Bhishma Dev and Parshit Maharaj, even Vidura. Because Parshit Maharaj is considered as an associate because he has seen Krishna. All the time he was meditating on Krishna. Krishna was personally protecting. Vidura was overwhelmed with joy. When he was talking to Maitreya, he said, Krishna was remembering you when at the time of his leaving. So Vidura was amazed. Oh, really? Did Lord remember me? Insignificant soul. So like that, you can see these are constant associates of the Lord. They fall under this third category. The fourth category is followers of the Lord. In both in Vrindavan. So the question I asked whether we have Dasyaras in Vrindavan. So there is Raktaka, Patraka, Patri. This all in the mood of servitorship. And Yashodamaya will say, oh, bring that water for Krishna, I need to bathe him. Or can you bring the chamara? Can you bring the telodati? So, or can you prepare the betel leaves or betel nuts? So Yashodamaya engages this Raktaka, Patraka, Patri and all those people. They fall under that category. And in Dwaraka or Mathura, we can see Sunanda, Mandana, Stamba and Stumba. So these people are always Chamara, Ambarla. These are just followers of the Lord who does the seva. So this is one category of classification. The another categorization also Rupa Goswami gives is Sambrahma Dasya, another is Gaurava Dasya. Sambrahma Dasya is the initial stage when he does one respectful service to the Lord. But the Gaurava Dasya Seva is where he is more mature. He does the Seva, but he falls into the second category of protection, feeling protection under the Lord, complete taking shelter under the Lord. And there are a few more classification Prabhupada has gone in. Probably we can skip that. There is a Durya, Dhira and Veera. Those kind of classification also Rupa Goswami gives. So there are different categories of different spiritual world. It's not the same Dasya, Av and reference. The degree varies according to different place circumstances, but ultimately all of them, as we mentioned, it's integrated. Dasya is integrated. Even you are an associate or you are a follower of the Lord and things like that. So this is the answer to the question what we have discussed. Another 5-10 minutes we'll dwell into this example. Then we will conclude the session. This is a wonderful quotation from Chaitanya Charitamrita. He mata madure shababhava samhara ata eva ashavad diyakare chamatkara. Similarly, on the platform of conjugal love, all the feeling of the devotees are amalgamated. Their intensified taste is certainly wonderful. The next sloka, on the platform of conjugal love, the devotees offer is body. I think it's body in the service of the Lord. Thus, on this platform, the transcendental qualities of 5 races are present. And also in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8.86, as the qualities increase, so the taste also increase, and each and every mellow, therefore the qualities found in Shantarasa, Dasarasa, Sakyarasa and Vatsalya Rasa are all manifested in conjugal love, Madhurya Rasa. So you can see that a person who is like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives the explanation, example of how from ether the sound comes, from subtle to gross, how it develops. From sound, then you develop, fire, water, ether, fire, then finally the earth, the more gross element. Similarly, the devotees, as they progress from Santa, means they are all merged into the effulgence of the Lord. They know only the Jyoti feature of that. And when Dasyam comes, that's where they identify as a person. They start doing some devotion service. And Dasyam manifests into Sakyam, where the Avan reference concept goes, but still they do a Seva. Then when Vatsalya comes, it's a combined Shanta, Dasyam, Sakyam, in manifest into taking care of the Lord. I am in charge of the Lord, let me take care of the Lord. Then that comes the Madhurya Rasa. So when we say that the Golaka Vrindavan Madhurya Rasa is not, it's a Madhurya Dham, there is no Dasya Rasa present, means what we need to understand that all these devotees, whatever it is in the Rasa is there, they want to see that Radha and Krishna, they met each other and they enable them to do their seva. All of them work together such a way that Radha and Krishna can be served nicely. Now in the previous sloka, Raktaka actually says that when classification Prabhupada gives, he says, I am not only servant of the Lord, because I feel very proud that I am serving Krishna. I am servant of the gopis also. Or anybody who is associated with Krishna, I am servant of the servant of the servant. So that mode without the pride, one should perform. So that is one category. So what happens is all of them without pride, they ensure that Radha Krishna seva is happening. So for example, a grass is there. The grass want to make it so soft, when Krishna walks, he feels very soft. So that's in the mood. Why? So that Krishna can go and meet Radharani and Srimati Radharani. So the predominant rasa, what is prevailing in Goloka Dham is that only Madhurya Rasa. You may not see that explicitly manifesting Dasyam, Sakyam of course is there, but they are all meant to finally give this beautiful, wonderful Madhurya Rasa to serve them. So, and each and every rasa on its own, it's complete. You can't say that it is Santa Rasa is inferior, Dasyam is inferior, Sakyam is inferior. Once somebody is in the particular rasa, because it's an absolute world, Golaka Vrindavan is an absolute world, and each of the rasas is absolute. But this all put together there are different views we can do. One spiritual point of view, if you see that, this Madhurya Rasa combines all of them. But technically aspect, you see, it's all absolute nature. So there is nothing superior or inferior. So on its own complete. Somebody is Dasya Rasa complete, then they are complete in that nature and they continue to serve in that nature. They don't need to change. One time Prabhupada asked, Prabhupada, can we change our rasas? Or can they change? Will they change? Prabhupada said maybe, but generally it doesn't happen. Because it's all absolute. It's not like a material change. Here, no, you're frustrated, you want to change something. It's not that I was in Dasya Rasa for so many years, let me change to Vatsalya Rasa, or let me change to that. No, it doesn't work like that. It is complete on its own. And Murari Gupta was asked to chant, please chant Lord's name. He said, my Lord, my heart is towards Lord Ram. I want to commit suicide. And Lord said, that's the perfection. He didn't ask him to change. Oh, no. I am Gauranga Mahaprabhu. I have come to deliver the whole world. Hare Krishna, if you don't chant, who will chant? You have to chant my name. He never said that. It's okay. Perfection. So Dasyam, Sakyam, it becomes a perfection and they will remain most of the time in the original Swarupa. But as we start chanting, doing devotion service in the Dasya mode, even though we don't know our Swarupa, but it is recommended. Even Radha Krishna, Prabhupada said, we don't have any qualification to worship Radha Krishna, but see them as Lakshmi Narayana, worship them. The standards all like, if you see a Dasya Rasam, we worship the Lordship in the mode of Lakshmi Narayana, even though they are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Radha Krishna. Our standard worship, Abhishek, everything we do it in the Dasya Ras. So once we progress in the Krishna, when the original Swarupa is revealed, that time we will know what kind of rasas we were in and we will continue to be there most of the time. And of course they can change if required, but it doesn't happen. So these are some of the answers to our discussion today. Let me see what else. Okay, sometime people might ask, how do I develop this seva attitude? We have another 5 minutes. 9:40 I will end and open up for more questions. So how to develop, how to get the taste, ruchi for doing this performing devotional service. One thing is that, as I mentioned, our position is to serve either to Maya or Krishna. So there is no other option. Second thing is that if you start, that's why sometimes you may not have taste. So that's why Krishna said, now in this material world, you take initiation, you start serving your guru. Gurumukha Padmavakya Chitte Te Koriyakya. So you start doing, practicing it. When you come there, then you will be able to do seva for me. Otherwise, you will not be able to do seva. So he is setting an example how to surrender to Acharya, Pariprashnena Sevaya. Then he is talking about how one to surrender, do this seva. All these services, whatever we do, chanting, let it be Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, whatever it is. So all this thing needs to be done in a very, very humble mood to perform. Then you will come to Krishna. So I would like to stop here for more questions and comments, corrections and reflections. Okay.
Hare Krishna devotees, Nanda Pranam. I have unmuted the line. So you may share your questions via chat, or you can ask your questions by unmuting your mic.
So if you can put it in chat, I can read. I am hardly able to hear you. In case there are any questions, put it in the chat.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay. Devotees who are in Zoom, you can put your questions in the chat window.
Okay. Ready? I have few slides to show. So also we all know that we are planning for a Mayapur Yatra, and we are requesting many devotees to join. So this is not, we are not going to cover as part of the Yatra, but just to, it's relevant to this today topic, that all these 9 islands are divided into Nava, Vidha, Bhakti. And what is the one for the Sevana? So Dasyam, that is Modramadip. So I will just briefly talk about Modramadip. Meanwhile, you can keep posting your questions so that we understand this pastime. Also, you can meditate. God Purnima is coming. Also, this will be a motivation for the devotees to visit this holy place, Mayapur Navadip Dham. And we start with Antardip, that's where Atmani Vedanam. Simandadip is known for Shravana. Godramadip is for Kirtana. Madhidip we have do Smarana. Pada Sevanam is for the Koladip, which is none other than Vrindavan. So Antardip is Gokul. Simandadip is none other than Puri. And if you see Modramadip, it is none other than Ayodhya. I jumped it. So from Koladip, Ritudip, Archana, Janudip, then we go to Modramadip. Modramadip is known for Ayodhya, it's none other than Ayodhya. This is a wonderful pastimes of how this, why this place is related to Ayodhya. I'll tell you. When Lord Ramachandra came to this place, when he was in the forest, Dandakaranya, and he was going around, right? So he came mother with Sita Lakshman to this place. Modrama means ecstasy or loving devotional. Druma means tree, a banyan tree. So this is the place Mother Sita got so much ecstatic to know about Lord Gauranga. So this is amazing. The Lord was smiling, Lord Ramachandra was smiling, and under the banyan tree with Ram and Lakshman. And Mother Sita asked, "My Lord, what is the secret? Why are you laughing? Can you please share?" And he said, "In Kali Yuga, I will take as a golden complexion, and I will leave my wife and my mother. I'll take sannyas and I'll go to Puri, and they will be weeping, crying each other like that. And you will become my Vishnu Priya as my wife, and you will be crying." She was shocked. "My Lord, why? Why is that so?" Then he said, "In this life, in this pastime, I will have Mother Sita as a Vigraha, because you would have gone for forest or whatever it is. Then I'll be in separation. I'll be keeping you doing all this yajna and all. Similarly, when Kali Yuga, when I come, you as the Dameshwar Mahadev, Vishnu Priya, you will have my deity. You will worship them. I will take sannyas and I will go to the forest, or in sense go to Puri." So like that, Mahaprabhu was explaining the pastime, what he's going to take, and Mother saw the beautiful form of Gauranga. So this is the place, Modramadip, where Lord Ramachandra pre-told, because Ramachandra, when he was taken Ramavatar, he saw Lakshman, so much servited attitude, so much seva is doing. next life when I come as a Krishna, you become my elder brother so that I can serve. And all these munis, they all said, we want to become like Mother Sita, we want to serve you. He said, you become in the Krishna Leela, Gopis. And this time, Mother Sita, all the time, she was in the forest. After getting married, she came to forest. After killing of Ravana, again he sent Vanavas. So she was always in the forest. Ram was in the palace. And this time he said, when Kaliuga comes, I'll take sannyas, you be there and you worship my deity. As I worshipped your Vigraha, golden Vigraha, you take my deity. So these are the two deities. When Mahaprabhu was personally present, he carved out two deities. One is that Gauri Pandit Das, we all know this pastime, Gauri Pandit Das. When he was there and he carved out the two deities, Gauranitai, and when Mahaprabhu was leaving to sannyas, and he told Vishnupriya that you can worship. This is the two deities who are carved out when Mahaprabhu was personally present. This is a wonderful place where Ramanujacharya, let it be Ramanujacharya, let it be Madhvacharya, they all be given audience. When Ramanujacharya was in Puri, and Lord told, see, I am going to take as Mahaprabhu, you need to go to Mayapur Vrindavan. And he comes here to this place, Modramadip, exactly place is Modramadip. Ramanujacharya comes, he sees the golden form. He said, I want to stop my preaching, I want to start the Hare Krishna movement. Then he said, no, it's not for the time. When it comes, you can do it, but I'm revealing to you. Like that, Madhvacharya also came. This is a wonderful place. And on top of it is this is a special place because this is the birthplace of none other than Mamgachi, Vrindavan Das Thakur Sri is written Chaitanya Bhagavat. This is the birthplace Mamgachi. Still, there's a beautiful temple is there. All of them can go and take wonderful darshan of this Mamgachi. So we all know the Leela of how he's moved here and he's returned this. Nityananda Mahaprabhu has mercifully told him to write Srimad Bhagavatam. This is none other than Vyasadeva, he wrote. And also there is a Saranga Thakur's birthplace. To briefly talk about Saranga Thakur, he was, you can see this tree. This is a wonderful pastime. This tree, hollow, you can see everywhere, hollow. This is the place this Saranga Thakur is to meditate. Oh, this tree is drying up, it's very hot. What I can do? Anyhow, he said, Saranga Thakur, yes, Prabhu, what we can do, Mahaprabhu, is the tree is going to die. The Lord embraced this tree. The still tree is there. And you can see below there is nothing, very hollow, but in the top you can see beautiful leaves, greens, always it is there. Still also it is there, this Kalparsha tree. Anybody goes and prays to here, people take mud, they go around, they take the twig of this tree, because this personally touched by Mahaprabhu. And we all know this, how Murari Gupta, the dead body of a person, Mahaprabhu told, this is a preaching moment, you are not preaching anybody, you are not making an initiated disciple. Saranga Thakur said, tomorrow morning I will go to Ganges, anybody first I say I will initiate. Unfortunately, there was a dead body. A boy was floating on the dead body. Then he said, this is the first person I met, I am initiating you, you are such an Das. And the person came back to life. And this wonderful pastime, this all happened in this place. There are many other places, Vaikuntapura, Araktila, and Pandavas, before going to Yakachakra, they came here. And the Lord, Yudhishthira Maharaj, the Lord came and he told, go to Yakachakra Dham. So there's a wonderful pastime of this island, which represents Dasyam. So we can meditate on this wonderful day about this Dasyam. Meanwhile, if there are any questions, I would like to take. I remember, what is very important in the initiation? The initiation process, most of you got initiated or you would have seen. This told, Bhakti Maharaj told this. What is the important thing? What excites you most in the initiation is the name. Now, what name I will get? Gaurachandra, Gopinath. Wow, what a name. And finally, Maharaj says, it is the end. You put Dasya, Dasi, Deva Dasya, Das. That attitude of Das is more important in the initiation than saying, oh, I belongs to Gaura Leela, my name is belongs to Gaura Leela, or Krishna Leela, or Rama Leela. No, that is not the important aspect of taking a person, initiating. You are initiated into getting into Dasa mode, Dasya mode, doing servitor attitudeship. That should continue, and because that's means and goal as well at the end. So that understanding of I am a Das, finally we have to say I am a Das, such a person Das. So that is, with that I stop here. There is
Prabhuji, there are two questions in the chat window, Prabhuji.
I am reading it. M.S. Rani Mataji, Prabhu, you have asked the question in the beginning. The answer is in the Madhurya Rasa is prevailing in Vrindavan. So even Dasya Bhava is part of Madhurya Rasa. So we can go back to Godhead. Is my understanding is proper. So as I mentioned, Golaka Vrindavan is absolute, and all the 5 rasas are there. It doesn't matter which rasa you are in. All the rasas are complete in itself. As I mentioned, this all intertwined, the seva rasas. You may not feel like he is friend, but no, you are ready to serve. Uddhava always ready to serve as associate. So they are always they may not call it as, they will not see Krishna as a Lord. That awe and reference may not be there, but still they are all ready to serve. For example, Balram, he was in the parental affection. How he would serve? Unknowingly he will drop the club because he would fall in the feet of Balram, other elders. Balram would invariably, with ecstasy or whatever reason, he would drop his club and club would touch Krishna's lotus feet, as symbolically he is paying obeisances to Krishna. So that way it happens, but they may not feel awe and reverence, but they are ready to serve for Krishna. That attitude of serving is there. That may be with mixed up awe and reverence, may not be there, but the serving attitude is all throughout there. The second one is Sankarshan Priyana Das. I have a question. How to understand difference between Santarasa of impersonalist who see the Lord as Brahmajyoti and the expansion of the Lord Balram as Dham, who serve the Lord in Shantarasa. Prabhu, can you elaborate more?
Prabhuji, the impersonalists, they see and serve the Lord in the form of Brahmajyotis. That is one understanding, Prabhuji. And what I also hear is Lord Balaram, he expands himself in different rasa to release the different rasa. One of the rasa is that Lord Balaram expands himself as a Dham, spiritual Dham, like Vrindavan or Mathura. Actually, those Dhams are Lord Balaram, and the Dhams are in the Shanta rasa, is what I hear in one of the lectures, Prabhuji. So I just want to understand this difference between the two, Prabhuji. The same rasa, but released by impersonalists and Bhakti.
So when Balram expands as a flute, when he expands into dhoti or he expands into other paraphernalia, it is completely different than the Mayavada philosophy. The Mayavada philosophy, there is no personal concept. And then Dasya Rasa, the neutrality is that it's another thing. But when Balram expands into this paraphernalia, it is completely different. Because he comes in other rasas as well. But as a service, you need to do that, he would expand as a flute, but it's a person. The flute can incarnate as another incarnation. We also seen that Annamacharya is the sword of the Lord. There are so many incarnations. If you see, all these acharyas are basically either Gada, Changa Chakra, they all take avatar and they deliver many fallen souls. So there are personal aspect of it, even though they expand into that mode. But whereas in contradiction to the other people, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, like he explains, Krishnadas Kaviraj, there is absence of service in those Dasya Rasa, there is no personal aspect, there is no service part of it in those impersonal stuff. As soon as the personal aspect is added, then it becomes Dasya Rasa, otherwise it remains Sankarasa. But the devotees in Golaka Vrindavan, they might be in Sankarasa, but absolute, they are not to be compared to the impersonal aspect of it.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Because absolute platform, they can change. They can change, as I mentioned, there's chances that the Swarupa can change, the Rasa can change. But generally they don't change because they're satisfied with that kind of expansion or that kind of seva. So they are in absolute terms. So those things cannot be considered. In fact, Santarasa and Golaka Vrindavan cannot be compared to the impersonal aspect. Yep.
Thank you, Guru. One reflection and one question. I really like that narration of Raghunath Maharaj and that properties, that loving exchange. So I was just reflecting like how, as relatively we may see our elders as we are doing them some help, but maybe in a way taking away that service, kind of a violence on them. So I was just thinking like that because the way, the mood in which he was asking, pleading, why are you taking this? So it really touched me. How we can be without knowing doing that in our own environments. So that is one of the reflections. And the other thing was about these four types of servitude. You mentioned the appointed, under shelter, constant associates, and followers of Lord. So also there is this tendency, because there is the jiva nature is to be eternal servant, but a perverted form of it is to do service independently. So unappointed, you can say. We can be falling into that trap of doing that misdirected service. So versus doing it under shelter or under somebody's, some authority. So if you can shed some light on the trap, there is that tendency.
The seva needs to be rather than what I like and when I want to do it, than what management want or the senior authorities want and when they want it. For example, somebody might be really good in, they love giving classes. That might be your preference, but there may be need of the hour, might be, there's temple construction going on, some emergencies there, you have to go and pick up some devotee, drop the devotee. That's a need of the hour, and that is what required right now. Let me do that. So the service attitude should be what I want to do or when I want to do, rather than sometimes devotees dedicatedly do it because they love that service, either cooking or it could be kirtan, somebody is really fond of doing. There's nothing wrong in doing that, but we also needs to be guided by the others. Generally, most of the time, the acharyas or the senior Vaishnavas see what is your fit, and Prabhupada used it. But sometimes, time and place, circumstances, you have to do it. You can see, Prabhupada used to send Tamal Krishna Maharaj to China. He was doing really good in the bus party and other stuff. And Prabhupada said, no, you're going tomorrow to China. They said, yes, we will go. Their attitude is like that. Whatever is inconvenience, they don't see their inconvenience of their body, but rather what is required. That is very important than seeing from inconvenience. Because there are a lot of examples I can tell. I don't want to just tell because I want to boast or something. This is what happened when I was in UK. See, all this generally, the devotees, there is this Damodar Arti program. It's something crazy. They go reach public outreach and they do it. And I went to New. I don't know anybody. So I don't know. I just pray to Krishna. I'm going to catch any bus, I'm going to stop any number I don't know, I'm going to get down in some places and I'm going to look for opportunities. Because it's talking to somebody there, doing program, I don't know, you can't do house program there. So then I got down in one bus stop. I thought properly Indian populated community, and then I don't know where to go. Then I just prayed to the Guru. And as soon as I prayed, then there is a voice came, Hare Krishna. Then I saw there is one devotee. And he said, Prabhu, you come. I said, what? What you have come for? Then I said, this is what program I want to do. I'm looking for some public community hall or something where somebody can help. Then he went home, dropped all his bag, grocery bag, and took me to the place. We booked the hall, and he was doing Diwali program. He said, you come and speak on Diwali program, you can promote, you can do all this thing. Then he made one statement. Prabhu, I live here for last 10, 12 years. This route what I've taken today, I never taken it for last 4 years. This is the first time I've taken it. I don't know why I took it and why at this time when I was getting down, he was there. So inconvenience, we don't know what will happen, whatsoever I will do, whether I will be able to succeed or not. Irrespective of your personal inconvenience, you just say this is Chittete Kori Atya. You want to do that, then it's more blissful and you see kind of helps you getting. It is unimaginable kind of support the acharyas flowing because that's a need for them. Rather, if you are successful, you are capable on particular seva, you would have done successfully, but this is what required. So that, what I'm saying is that there is definitely a lot of mercy flows, what you want to do when you do want to do seva. You go beyond your capabilities and likes and dislikes. One thing, another aspect is same question Srila Jayapataka Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, do you like Indians? He said, yes. Do you want to stay here and preach? And he said, yes, because naturally. Then he felt ashamed. How can I say Guru order is coming? I can say I liked it, disliked it. There is no concept of like and dislike in the seva when Guru says. You can even mentally, you can't even, oh, this is a service I like it. Even you can't even think that is an offense. Because anything comes, I need to do it. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. That is also an offense to think any order comes from Guru thinking that this is my like service or not. Even it is favorable to you. That is the understanding.
Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks for your informative class. I understand that generally when Krishna is coming down to earth here, he comes with all his troop, a group of people, forms, designated work. But we have come without any purpose by doing some mistake or something in our lives and we have come to the earth. How to understand that where we fit out of this Nava seva, whether it is Dasyam or this thing or that. Because you said you cannot change the Dasyam, Dasyam or even everything.
Yes.
So initially how we should understand that where do I fit? Or afterwards whether I am really fit for this seva, can you be judged?
Prabhu, till we go back to Godhead is only Dasya Rasa. Till go back to Godhead, till your Swarupa is revealed. When you go back, your Guru Maharaj will reveal. Oh, you come, this is your Swarupa. That time you will know. But till then, it is only Dasya Rasa. There is no other Rasa. But some Matajis might feel affectionate for the Lord when Laddu Gopal is there. The mood will be there. If they're spontaneously coming, it's okay. But we don't try to artificially force. But still, timing on time, giving, feeding them, changing the dress, taking care as a baby. You might do that as a mood. Or sometimes you might go as a son, pray to Lord, please protect me. That's okay. But generally, it is Dasya Ras, the perfection on which Prabhupada is. Arati needs to happen on particular time with awe and reference, punctuality, keeping high standard of the deities. They might sometimes motherly affection, the mothers sometimes Matajis might feel, that's okay. But predominantly it is Dasya Ras till your Swarupa is revealed in the spiritual world.
In the beginning there is a statement if one continues to think himself as eternal servant of Krishna,
Hare Krishna devotees, we will be ending the Zoom session.